If you're a man over 60, I need you to listen carefully. Because the truth is, just 4 common fruits, yes, fruits, could be quietly destroying your blood flow, weakening your erections, and stealing the intimacy you thought you'd never lose. Not fried food, not red meat, not alcohol. Fruits. The ones sitting in your kitchen right now disguised as healthy choices. But inside your body, they act like slow poison, spiking estrogen, flooding your system with sugar, and inflaming the very blood vessels that carry circulation to your most vital organ. My name is Dr. James. I'm a urologist and men's health specialist with over 30 years of experience helping men reclaim their confidence, restore their performance, and protect their manhood without drugs or surgery. I've worked with thousands of men just like you, and what I'm about to tell you isn't theory. It's what works in real life. Most men are never warned. That's why they keep eating these 4 fruits, unaware that each bite may be pulling them further away from the man they used to be. But today, we're changing that. Because in this video, I'm going to show you exactly which 4 fruits to avoid and, more importantly, what to eat instead. Fruits that open your arteries, fuel your masculinity, and support rock-solid performance well into your 70s and beyond. Stay with me because the last fruit on the list is the most dangerous of them all. And most men over 60 eat it weekly, thinking it's good for their heart. Before we dive in, if you care about protecting your circulation, your performance, and your intimacy after 60, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell. That way you'll never miss another doctor-backed health tip designed specifically for men like you. And if this video speaks to you, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0. Your feedback helps me make this content better and more helpful for you. All right, now that you know what's at stake, let's get specific. Starting with the first fruit that might be doing you more harm than good. It's sweet, tropical, and often seen as a healthy snack. But for men over 60, it can quietly sabotage your hormones and your blood flow. I'm talking about pineapple, and here's what you need to know. Fruit. 1. Pineapple. The sweet trap that spikes estrogen. I still remember the moment one of my longtime patients, Robert, 72, retired firefighter, came into my office with tears in his eyes. Not from pain, but from frustration. He'd been active all his life, strong, sharp, a man's man, but over the past year, something had changed. His energy was down. His drive, both mentally and intimately, had started fading. And no matter how many supplements he took or how healthy he tried to eat, his body just wasn't responding. So we sat down and went through his diet, top to bottom. That's when it hit me. Every morning, Robert started his day with a bowl of fresh-cut pineapple. He swore by it. "Doctor," he told me, "that fruit keeps me regular and gives me energy." But what he didn't know, and what most men don't, is that pineapple, despite its tropical sweetness and reputation for being healthy, can actually sabotage your hormones after 60. Pineapple is extremely high in fructose. Now, when you're younger, your liver can handle that sugar fairly well. But after 60, your metabolism slows and your liver processes fructose much less efficiently. Instead of converting it into energy, your body starts storing it as visceral fat, especially around the belly. And here's where the real problem begins. Visceral belly fat in older men doesn't just sit there. It becomes hormonally active. It starts converting your free testosterone, yes, your masculinity, into estrogen. That's right, estrogen, the hormone that makes you softer, slower, and more emotional. The very hormone that reduces libido, dulls arousal, and weakens your erection strength. Suddenly, that sweet pineapple becomes a chemical enemy to your manhood. But that's not all. Pineapple is also highly acidic, which may not have affected you decades ago, but now, at this age, it can irritate your gut lining and trigger low-grade inflammation. That inflammation doesn't just cause digestive discomfort. It tightens your blood vessels, stiffens the arterial walls, and reduces the flexibility your circulatory system needs for strong, healthy blood flow. When that happens, blood has a harder time reaching the places it needs to go, especially during moments of intimacy. In Robert's case, it wasn't medications, aging, or lack of effort. It was his morning fruit sabotaging him every single day. Now, I'm not here to demonize food. My job is to show you what works with your body and what works against it, especially as you get older. For men in their 60s, 70s, and beyond, the goal is no longer just eating healthy, it's about eating strategically. It's about making choices that protect your hormones, support your blood flow, and preserve your vitality. So when Robert swapped out pineapple for a much better alternative, watermelon, he started to notice the change in just over a week. Why watermelon? Because it contains an amino acid called citrulline, which helps your body produce more nitric oxide. And nitric oxide is the key to dilating your blood vessels, enhancing circulation, and making sure blood flows exactly where you need it, when you need it. Within 10 days, Robert told me he woke up feeling something he hadn't felt in months, himself. He was sharper, more energetic, and yes, stronger in the bedroom. Not because of some miracle pill or risky procedure, but simply because he learned what his body needed at this stage in life and what to avoid. I share this story with you because I know how easy it is to make small decisions that have big consequences. You're doing your best. You want to stay healthy, but no one ever told you that even the fruit you trust could be tipping your hormones in the wrong direction. So if you've been starting your mornings with pineapple, thinking you're making a smart choice, now you know the truth. You deserve to feel strong, focused, and alive again. And it starts with something as simple as what's on your plate. But pineapple isn't the only sneaky saboteur hiding in your kitchen. There's another fruit, tiny, sweet, and seemingly harmless, that most men snack on without a second thought. Yet inside your bloodstream, it behaves more like candy than fruit. It spikes your sugar, disrupts your circulation, and quietly damages the very vessels responsible for intimacy. Let's talk about it next. If you're still here and this message is striking a chord with you, just type the number 1 in the comments to let me know you're still with me. Now let's keep going because what you're about to hear next might surprise you even more. Fruit 2. Grapes, the silent blood sugar spike. When you think of dangerous foods for your blood flow and sexual health, I'm sure grapes don't come to mind. In fact, I bet you've been told they're one of the better options. Bite-sized, full of antioxidants, easy to snack on while watching TV or sitting outside on a warm afternoon. But I've got to be honest with you, for men over 60, grapes might be one of the most deceptive fruits out there. I had a patient named Gerald, 68 years old, a retired school principal who had always done his best to eat healthy. He wasn't one to eat cookies or drink soda, but he loved his grapes. He'd keep a bowl of them on the kitchen counter and pick at them throughout the day. "Doctor," he said with a smile, "they're nature's candy, right?" But that was exactly the problem. You see, the older we get, the less efficiently our body handles glucose. Our insulin sensitivity drops, our metabolism slows, and our arteries become more vulnerable to spikes in blood sugar. Grapes, especially the seedless green ones that most people prefer, are packed with fast-absorbing sugars. And when you snack on them frequently, especially in large handfuls, it doesn't take long for your blood sugar to spike. That sudden surge is followed by a crash, and over time, this cycle leads to something far worse: chronic inflammation. Now here's where it gets personal and painful for so many men. Inflammation doesn't just affect your energy or your joints, it targets your endothelial cells, the thin layer that lines your blood vessels. These cells are responsible for producing nitric oxide, which is the molecule that tells your blood vessels when to open, when to expand, and when to send more blood to your brain, your heart, and yes, your penis. When those cells are inflamed, they stop producing nitric oxide, your vessels stiffen, your circulation weakens, and over time, your erections lose their fullness, their firmness, and their reliability. Gerald had noticed it too. He didn't have major health problems, but his energy was dipping and he felt dull, as he put it, physically and emotionally. His intimacy with his wife wasn't what it used to be. He chalked it up to aging. But when we reviewed his habits, the grapes stood out. It may seem hard to believe, but those sweet little orbs were delivering a punch his body could no longer handle. Even more, grapes contain a compound called resveratrol, which you may have heard is good for your heart. That's true, in moderation. But in high quantities, especially when consumed regularly as a snack, resveratrol may thin your blood too much. And if you're already on blood pressure or blood-thinning medication, that can make things worse, creating instability in your circulation and interfering with how blood flows during arousal. I advised Gerald to switch things up. He replaced his grapes with a handful of blueberries each day, lower in sugar, higher in protective antioxidants, and far gentler on the body. Within 2 weeks, he called me and said, "Doc, I didn't realize how much better I could feel." His energy returned, his mind was sharper, and his confidence in the bedroom began to rebuild, slowly but noticeably. It's never about perfection. It's about precision. Choosing fruits that support your hormones and circulation instead of quietly breaking them down. Grapes may seem innocent, but they are a sugar spike in disguise, and when you're over 60, your body doesn't have the margin it used to. You need every bit of blood flow working in your favor. You need every molecule of nitric oxide to perform the way it should. And that means saying goodbye to grapes, or at least replacing them with fruits that are on your side. But don't worry, grapes aren't the only sweet trap out there. There's another fruit, one that's been celebrated for decades as the perfect snack. It's creamy, convenient, and loaded with potassium. But it might be secretly robbing you of your drive, dulling your desire, and lowering your testosterone without you even realizing it. Let's take a closer look. Fruit. 3. Bananas. Potassium-packed, but testosterone-blocking. If there's one fruit almost every man I've ever treated has kept in his kitchen, it's the banana. It's quick, convenient, loaded with potassium, and has this image of being the go-to healthy snack for people of all ages. I've had men tell me proudly that they eat one every morning with breakfast, believing it's helping their blood pressure and keeping their heart strong. And truth be told, that's what I used to believe too, until I started digging deeper into what bananas actually do to the aging male body. Let me tell you about Clarence, a 70-year-old veteran who came into my office last year. Strong hands, a deep voice, and a firm handshake. He was the kind of guy who never liked to complain. But that day he sat quietly in my office and said, "Doc, I don't feel like myself anymore. I'm tired. I don't feel like a man." Those were his exact words. He wasn't just talking about intimacy, he meant his spark, his drive, his sense of inner power. Everything had started to fade. We ran his labs. Testosterone was low, estrogen slightly elevated, and his dopamine, the brain's motivation and desire chemical, was clearly out of balance based on the symptoms he described. I asked him to walk me through his diet, and when he got to breakfast, he said, "Every morning a banana, cup of coffee, and oatmeal." That's when the red flag went up. You see, bananas may have benefits, but for older men, they come with risks most people never talk about. First, they're packed with natural sugars, mainly glucose and sucrose, which flood the bloodstream quickly. That means a spike in insulin followed by a crash in energy. It's subtle, but when it happens daily, it starts to wear down your vitality. More importantly, bananas stimulate serotonin, a neurotransmitter that promotes calmness, relaxation, and sleep. That might sound like a good thing, but here's the catch. Serotonin competes with dopamine. When serotonin goes up too much, dopamine goes down. And dopamine is the engine behind motivation, ambition, excitement, and yes, sexual desire. This explains why Clarence had lost his edge. His body was being bathed in a calming chemical that was slowly turning down the volume on the very systems that make a man feel alive. And that wasn't all. Bananas also contain lectins, plant proteins that in sensitive individuals can irritate the gut lining, lead to mild inflammation, and interfere with nutrient absorption. One of the nutrients most affected? Zinc, a mineral essential for testosterone production. Low zinc levels equal lower testosterone, which equals less firmness, less energy, and less presence in every area of life. So I asked Clarence to try something simple. For 14 days, he cut out bananas entirely and replaced them with half an avocado each morning. Unlike bananas, avocados are full of healthy fats that help balance hormones. They don't spike insulin. They support testosterone and they're rich in potassium without the sugar load. 2 weeks later, Clarence returned with a smile I hadn't seen before. He said, "Doc, I feel sharper, more in control, and my wife noticed too." That's the power of understanding how your body works after 60. It's not about giving up the things you enjoy, it's about knowing which foods align with the man you still want to be, and which ones quietly push you in the wrong direction. Bananas might be great for kids and athletes, but for you, they could be holding you back in ways you never imagined. And here's the thing. If a soft, sweet fruit like the banana can interfere with your testosterone and your drive, imagine what happens when you add high acidity to the equation. There's another fruit that almost every household keeps stocked, often in the form of juice. It promises vitamin C and immune support, but in reality, it floods your body with sugar and silently inflames your arteries from the inside out. You'll want to hear this, because this next fruit might be the most misleading of them all. Let's take a closer look. Fruit. 4. Oranges. The hidden Citric Saboteur. Years ago, if you had asked me what the healthiest way to start your morning was, I might have said a glass of orange juice. That's what I was taught in school. It's what most of us believed for decades: bright, refreshing, packed with vitamin C. And if you grew up in America, chances are that orange juice was a staple at your breakfast table. I can still picture my father sitting at the kitchen counter in the early morning light, sipping from a tall glass, thinking he was doing the right thing for his heart. But fast forward 30 years, and we now know better. We know that for men over 60, that healthy glass of orange juice might be one of the worst things you can put in your body, especially if you care about circulation, intimacy, and staying sharp. Let me tell you about Don. He's 74, a retired engineer, sharp-minded and disciplined. He didn't smoke, rarely drank, exercised a few times a week, but in the past year he noticed things were changing. His erections weren't as firm. His energy dipped. His confidence with his wife took a hit. He felt embarrassed, not because of age, but because he was doing everything right and still losing ground. We looked at his daily habits. Sure enough, every morning he started with a glass of orange juice and half an orange, sometimes more. He figured the vitamin C would help him stay healthy. But here's what's actually happening under the surface. Orange juice, and even whole oranges in excess, deliver a heavy dose of natural sugar. One glass can carry nearly 20 grams of sugar. And for a man over 60, your body processes that sugar very differently than it did at 30 or 40. That much sugar causes an immediate spike in blood glucose levels, which triggers an insulin response. This sudden rise and fall becomes a dangerous cycle, one that inflames your arteries, hardens your blood vessels, and reduces the smooth flow your body needs to perform sexually. But it doesn't stop at sugar. Oranges are also highly acidic. That acidity can irritate the stomach lining, especially if consumed on an empty stomach. And when your gut lining is under constant irritation, it sets off a chain reaction of inflammation throughout the body. For men trying to preserve nitric oxide production, the key molecule responsible for relaxing blood vessels and increasing blood flow, that inflammation is devastating. Without enough nitric oxide, your blood vessels can't dilate properly. And without dilation, there's no blood flow, no performance, no intimacy. Don was shocked. "You're telling me orange juice is hurting me?" he asked. "I've been drinking that since I was a kid." And I get it. These habits run deep. They feel wholesome. But just because something's been with us a long time doesn't mean it belongs in this season of life. Our bodies change. What worked then may be hurting us now. I had Don replace his morning orange juice with a small glass of 100% pomegranate juice, just 4 ounces a day. Within 2 weeks, his energy improved. Within a month, his firmness returned. His wife even called to thank me. "He's back," she said, laughing. And truthfully, he was. More alert, more present, more alive. That's what happens when we stop fighting our biology and start working with it. Oranges aren't evil. But after 60, they're not your friend. At least not if you care about keeping blood flowing where it matters most. And now you're probably wondering, what should I eat instead? Don't worry, we're getting there because avoiding these 4 fruits is only half the story. In the next section, I'm going to show you exactly what to eat instead. Fruit swaps that work with your body, not against it. Foods that open your arteries, fuel your testosterone, and help you feel like yourself again. The truth is, a better sex life and stronger circulation might start with something as simple as switching what's in your fruit bowl. Let me show you how. 5. The 4-fruit swap plan. Easy daily fix. By now, you might be feeling a little frustrated or maybe even betrayed, and I wouldn't blame you. For years, we've been told that fruit is one of the healthiest things we can put in our bodies. And in many ways, that's still true. But what no one ever told you, and what most doctors don't bother to explain, is that not all fruits work in your favor, especially when you're over 60. When I sit down with men in my office and we talk honestly, man to man, about where they're at with their health, their confidence, and their relationships, they're often shocked to hear that something as simple as a piece of fruit could be making things worse. But it's not about blaming yourself. It's about knowing better, so you can do better. And the good news, you don't need to stop eating fruit altogether. You just need to be selective, to choose the kinds of fruits that support your testosterone, improve circulation, and fuel nitric oxide production instead of destroying it. That's where this simple 4-fruit swap plan comes in. I want you to imagine your kitchen counter right now. Maybe there's a bunch of bananas sitting in a bowl, maybe there's a bag of grapes in your fridge, maybe a pineapple you just sliced up, or a bottle of orange juice you've been sipping on every morning for years. These fruits have served you in the past, but your body is not the same body it was 30 years ago. It needs a different kind of support now, more targeted, more forgiving, more in tune with the realities of aging. So here's what I want you to do. Just swap them, one for one. It's not complicated, it doesn't require a special diet or strict rules. Just replace each harmful fruit with one that's going to help you feel like yourself again. If you've been eating pineapple, switch to watermelon. Watermelon is rich in citrulline, which helps your body naturally produce more nitric oxide. That means better blood flow, stronger erections, and improved heart health without medication. If grapes have been your go-to snack, try replacing them with blueberries. Blueberries are lower in sugar, high in antioxidants, and excellent for protecting the endothelial lining of your blood vessels, keeping them flexible and responsive. If you're used to starting the day with a banana, try half an avocado instead. Avocados are packed with healthy fats that help balance hormones, support testosterone production, and reduce inflammation, all key for men over 60 who want to stay active and confident in every part of life. And finally, if orange juice or oranges are a daily habit, switch to a few ounces of pure pomegranate juice. Pomegranate is like a superfruit for male health. It's been shown in clinical studies to boost testosterone, enhance nitric oxide, and improve erectile function in men with circulation issues. Now, I know some of these swaps may seem small, but I've seen these little shifts completely transform the way a man feels. More energy in the morning, a stronger sense of presence in his relationships, more reliability and confidence in the bedroom. And the best part? It doesn't take months to see results. Some of my patients notice a difference in just 7 to 10 days. This is about giving your body what it needs, not what you've been told is healthy by outdated advice. It's about aligning your diet with your goals, your age, and the kind of life you want to keep living. I've watched men go from quietly discouraged to deeply empowered just by changing the fruits they eat. And if they can do it, so can you. But knowing what to eat is just the beginning. The real question is, what will you do with that knowledge today? Because in this final section, I'm going to give you the exact steps to take, starting right now, that will help you reclaim your circulation, protect your performance, and build a routine that keeps you rock solid and energized day after day. Let's make it happen. 6. What you need to do today. Now that you know the truth, I want to talk to you heart to heart about what comes next. Because information, no matter how powerful, means nothing without action. And if there's one thing I've learned in over 3 decades of helping men just like you, it's this. The smallest, most consistent steps often lead to the biggest breakthroughs. The reality is, you don't need to overhaul your entire life overnight. You don't need to throw out your pantry, go on some extreme diet, or start chasing expensive treatments. What you need is a clear decision, a commitment to take better care of the one thing no one else can manage for you, your health. And it starts today. I want you to go into your kitchen after this video and take an honest look at what's there. If there's pineapple, grapes, bananas, or oranges, remove them. Don't keep them in the fridge as a maybe for later. Don't rationalize it by saying just one more time won't hurt. You've seen the evidence. You've felt the truth in your gut. These fruits are not serving you anymore. Not at this stage of life. Then go out and replace them. Pick up watermelon, grab some blueberries, choose ripe avocados. Find a bottle of 100% pure pomegranate juice. These aren't strange or hard-to-find foods. They're right there in your local grocery store waiting to serve your body instead of silently working against it. And here's something I want you to really hear. This is not just about food. This is about power. When you take control of what goes into your body, you begin to reclaim the parts of yourself that might have felt like they were slipping away. Your confidence, your energy, your strength in both mind and body. I've seen men in their 70s who had given up hope turn everything around in just a few weeks. Not because of magic, but because they stopped following the crowd and started following what their body truly needed. If you're feeling uncertain or maybe even skeptical, that's okay. Change feels uncomfortable at first, but I promise you this, it's worth it. Your body wants to heal. Your blood vessels want to open. Your hormones want to rebalance. Your energy wants to return. You just have to give it a reason. Give it the tools. So here's what I suggest. For the next 14 days, stick to the swaps I've shown you. No pineapple, no grapes, no bananas, no oranges, just their replacements. Fruits that fight inflammation, support testosterone, and help deliver blood exactly where it needs to go. Drink more water. Go for a walk each morning if you can. Get some sun on your skin. Start small, but start today. And as you make these shifts, I encourage you to pay attention to what you feel, not just physically, but emotionally. Are your mornings brighter? Are you thinking more clearly? Do you feel more present in your relationship, more grounded in your own skin? These are signs that your body is responding and that you're finally working with it, not against it. I've had patients bring in their wives months later and tell me that something in their marriage changed just from this simple food adjustment. They began reconnecting, not just intimately, but emotionally. Because when a man feels better in his body, he shows up differently in every part of his life. So don't let this just be another video you watched and forgot. Let this be the moment you took back control. The moment you said, no more slipping, I'm moving forward now. And if you're wondering, where do I go from here, doctor? You'll want to stick around for what's coming next. Because in the final part of this video, I'm going to leave you with a message I share only with my private patients, something that ties everything together and reminds you why this journey is about far more than fruit. It's about legacy, intimacy, and the man you're still becoming. Let's finish strong. 7. Final message. The power is still in your hands. If you've made it this far, I want to take a moment to tell you something most men your age don't hear nearly enough. I'm proud of you. You showed up. You took the time to listen, to learn, and to face some hard truths that many others choose to ignore. That tells me something important. Deep down, you're not ready to settle. You still care. You still want to feel like yourself, and that matters more than you know. We've covered a lot today. You now understand how 4 fruits that are often seen as healthy, pineapple, grapes, bananas, and oranges, can quietly weaken your blood flow, disrupt your hormones, and rob you of the energy and intimacy you deserve. Not because these fruits are bad, but because your body has changed, and what worked in your 30s and 40s might not be what supports your vitality today. You've also seen how simple, smart swaps, like replacing pineapple with watermelon, grapes with blueberries, bananas with avocado, and orange juice with pomegranate, can help restore circulation, protect your testosterone, and bring life back to parts of you that may have felt distant or fading. I know some of what I said may have surprised you, maybe even challenged what you've believed for years. And I get it. Change doesn't always come easy, especially when it comes to habits that have been part of our lives for decades. I've had patients who resisted at first, who looked at me like I was crazy when I told them to drop the banana or toss the orange juice. But weeks later, they'd come back with color in their face, a new confidence in their step, and that quiet, unmistakable smile that says, "I feel like me again." Because here's the truth, my friend. Getting older doesn't mean getting weaker. It doesn't mean giving up intimacy or trading your passion for passivity. It means learning to work with your body in a new way. It means honoring what you've built and making choices that protect the years you've earned. You're not finished, not even close. You still have more to give, more to feel, and more to enjoy. I've sat across from thousands of men who thought it was too late, men who'd quietly convinced themselves that their best days were behind them. And you know what changed their lives? It wasn't some prescription or fancy treatment. It was knowledge. It was a shift in mindset. And it was the decision to stop drifting and start directing their health with purpose. And you can do that too, starting today. Every meal you eat, every morning you wake up, every choice you make, it's a chance to support your body or slip further away from the man you want to be. And the beauty of it all, the power is still in your hands. You're not broken. You're not past your prime. You're simply in a new season of life that requires a new level of care, of attention, and wisdom. This isn't just about food. It's about connection, energy, clarity, desire. It's about being present for the people who love you and for the moments that matter most. It's about proving to yourself day by day that you still have what it takes to feel strong, be proud, and live fully. So as we wrap up, I leave you with this. Take the knowledge you've gained today and turn it into action, not next week, not when it's convenient. Today. Clean out your fridge, grab the right fruits, hydrate, move your body, choose foods that serve your heart, your hormones, and your future. You deserve to feel good again, not just once in a while, but consistently. You deserve mornings filled with purpose, afternoons with energy, and nights where you feel close, connected, and fully alive. And if this message touched something in you, if you feel a fire stirring that you thought was gone, then let it grow. Let it push you to be the man you know you still are. Because the truth is simple. Your story isn't over, not even close. It's just getting started.